Coming up on MSI Wealth Chronicles.
I actually did a story one time and told somebody, how much does credit affect you? I said, when you woke up this morning, you went over, turned on the lights, your credit's already affected you.
Yeah.
When you went and turned your water on, your credit just affected you again, because all of these things are you got a rate on how much your electricity was, how much your water was.
Any late payment on your credit report is a derogatory mark. When you write the letters, we like to actually quote the loss.
Maybe the last day that you took ownership of that debt. And that's the reason if a collection agency ever calls you and they say, hey, do you remember this debt? You should tell them, I don't remember that debt. Could you please send me that paperwork on that? Because if you agree to that, it actually restarts it. And that's where those things can come back at you. MSI Wealth Chronicles, more than money, it's about empowerment. Today, we're going to be talking about something y'all are really going to be interested in, which is how to actually dispute those things on your credit report that are wrong and accurate, or you don't even know where they came from. My name's Jesse Hartman, and this is Boss Man. Introduce yourself.
Ricardo Mendiola.
Yeah, I'm going to get that name right yet.
I like what you did, though. You made me say my name versus you saying it and chopping it up.
This is really one of those things that I think honestly scares people the most is the dispute process. And part of the reason I think, and just kind of giving an idea to them out there, is people get started in it. And when they get that first negative response or a response that they don't know how to answer, it's like it's over for them, immediately. I guess really it's today, I guess we're going to be kind of clearing some of that thought process up.
Exactly. Yep. And I guess let's start kind of from the beginning, right?
Like, that's where I would begin.
When do you dispute, stuff on your credit report? And, in my opinion, the first thing that you need to do is look at your credit report.
Right.
There's a lot of free credit reports out there. Credit Karma's free. And even a lot of the websites that don't offer a free credit report, they usually offer a free trial basis where they don't charge you anything for the first 7 days. And then if you don't cancel, then you become a client of theirs. So that's the first step, is to pull your credit report and look to see if you have any derogatory items on your credit report, because the derogatory items are the ones that are affecting our credit scores. And a lot of people, we've noticed this, with our clients, a lot of people don't know what derogatory items are. So
no, not even a clue.
I guess that's where we could start off, because one of the ones that people don't know about is, for example, a paid collection. A lot of people think that whenever you pay off a collection, that it's 100% going to be deleted, and they no longer have that derogatory item on their credit report. And that's not the case.
Right.
I would say 9 times out of 10, whenever you pay off a collection, it remains on your credit report, and that mark on your credit report is still considered a derogatory mark that hurts your scores. So collections, that are not paid are derogatory marks. Paid collections are derogatory marks. Here's another tricky one: late payments. So I think everybody knows that late payments are derogatory marks on our credit report that affect our credit scores. But what a lot of people do not know is, once the account is closed, let's say you pay off a car because you paid it off or whatever, right? You paid it off and now you don't have a car payment. That old car loan that you had, if you ever paid it late, even though it's been paid off by you or you traded it in and it was paid off by your bank, right? Or the car dealership, it still affects your credit score. So any late payment on your credit report is a derogatory mark.
So just kind of to clarify that thought up for a moment for everybody is, so if I have a 7-year loan, it's about to go away next month, and I have a late payment on the very last payment, that's going to affect me when that closes.
Yes. As long as it's on your credit report, it's going to affect you. Now, if that late payment gets deleted because of the 7-year rule and it actually does fall off, right? Because you've seen it, we see it all the time, where there's negative items that are reporting on our clients' credit reports that have been on the credit report for longer than 7 years.
Right.
So if it's on there, it's still affecting their credit scores. Now, can you possibly get it deleted because it's reporting after 7 years? Yes. But, to answer your question, yes, if there's a late payment, I don't care if it's 1 year old, 7 years old, 10 years old, If it's on your credit report, it's affecting your credit scores.
And that's also part of the reason that the collections and pay collections is so rough, because that's one of the things that they may not know out there is the 7 years is based on your last date of activity.
Yeah.
Right. And that's typically going to either, depending on, there's some state rules that are there, but in most states, it's going to be the last date that you paid.
Yep.
Or depending on your state, it may be the last day that you took ownership of that debt.
Yeah.
And that's the reason if a collection agency ever calls you and they say, hey, do you remember this debt? You should tell them, I don't remember that debt. Could you please send me that paperwork on that?
Yep.
Because if you agree to that, it actually restarts it. And that's where those things can come back at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, one of the, the reason I bring that up is if you have a collection, you pay it off. And let's say it's 5 years old and you pay it off today, it becomes a 1 day old paid collection. And just like that, late payment's going to be there for 7 years.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, I mean, just know your rights, right? The whole reason why we could dispute, this is what we're talking about today.
Right.
The whole reason why you could dispute stuff on your credit report is because it's our right. The bureaus make so many mistakes. Creditors make so many mistakes. Collection agencies make so many mistakes that the government, passed a bunch of laws that give us the ability to dispute whatever we believe is inaccurate. So
Right.
back to, the game plan. If you look at your credit report and you have any derogatory marks on your credit report, if I was you, I would dispute them, because we're not disputing whether they're ours or not. We're disputing how they're reporting on your credit report.
And if they should be reporting at all.
Exactly.
Some of the items don't even have a right to be on there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a percentage, I wish I would have gotten that, but of how many Americans, what percentage of Americans have inaccuracies on their credit report? It's above 50%. Do you happen to know that number?
I don't know it off the top of my head, but I'm going to say it's somewhere. I know for a fact it's over 50%. I want to say it's like 60 or 65% of Americans have an inaccuracy on their credit report.
And you have to think about it this way. I mean, we've been doing this for 18 years in MSI Credit Solutions, and our deletion percentage is around 50%. So a client comes to us, we dispute the negative items that appear on their credit report, and we typically find out that, about 50 or more are reporting inaccurate and they get deleted. And that's been for 18 years. Think about that. We're finding, over 50% of inaccuracies on our clients' credit reports. So you could do this yourself, right? A lot of people,
absolutely they can.
A lot of people don't, realize that. But yeah, it's just like any other service. What we're performing here is a service. So you could do this yourself if you wish, or you could hire a professional like us, like MSI Credit Solutions, to do it for yourself.
I equate it to getting your car fixed.
Yeah.
You can go and fix your car at any time you want to. Go down to AutoZone, buy the part. You can even probably borrow the tools, go home and fix it yourself. But I don't know if I have that time to do that. Yeah. I don't know if I trust it. It's my first time doing it.
Versus a mechanic.
Versus a mechanic doing it. Times. Yeah, do I want to put the transmission in, or that I'm going to be depending on later, or do I want the guy that's put 400 of them in and everybody's still riding around in those?
Exactly. So, that has great reviews and a good reputation, right?
That's exactly it. Yep. So what do they need to do? What information do you have to do? Of course, we got to start with a credit report. We use Smart Credit as one of our partners. You can get a 7-day trial with them, 6-day trial with them, be able to pull the credit report and be able to see all your information. And you need to know what accounts are on. You also need to know the information on there that is where to send your disputes to, which would be on the bottom of your credit report when you're looking at all your creditors. Now that I have the credit report in my hand, let's say we have that in the hand, what information do I need on there, and how do I utilize that to get it disputed? I
mean, like you said, the first thing that I would do is look at the credit report, identify what negative items you have on your credit report, and then write a letter to the bureaus, creditors, and collection agencies, and include the negative items that you're disputing. And then also, one of the main things is include a copy of your ID and your social, because a lot of times if you send out a dispute and you don't include that, they'll respond back, at the maximum time frame, right? And they'll say, hey, we need a copy of your license and we need a copy of your social. So you have to know what they're what they're needing to actually go forward with the dispute. So include a copy of your license, include a copy of your social, really any information. Include a copy of the credit report, maybe highlight
Right.
what negative item you're disputing, and then write them the actual letter. And when you write the letters, we like to actually quote the loss.
Right.
Quote the loss. Hey, I'm disputing this. Per the Fair and Accurate Credit Transaction, Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, per the HIP Act. You have 45 days to respond back max. There's another law that states that you could ask them to validate it, and
Right.
and it tells you what you could ask them for, and where it actually makes it accurately where they validated it, and so you could ask them for that information. So that's one of the main things is I would actually include the laws. So that would take you getting a little familiar with the laws. And another thing, aside of I mentioned, including a credit report, send it also certified if you can. I mean, certified is a little bit more expensive.
Right.
MSI doesn't send all of their letters certified. Typically the only time that we send it certified is when they ignore our dispute.
Right.
When they ignore our dispute, we send the dispute again, but this time we do it certified. That way we have a track record that they did receive it. Because if you just send it regular mail and they don't respond back, you really don't have proof.
Any proof that they didn't do it.
Yep, they could say, "Oh, I never received it."
So
and now
really-
it's he said, she said.
So really, if it's somebody doing it themselves, if they're out there trying to do it themselves, I would actually recommend from the beginning to do certified mail.
Yes.
Because if you don't have proof that you sent the item there, like you said, they could go, well, we never got it.
Exactly.
And if they say that, it's really like you said, a he, she said. And with the certified letter, now with a company like us, we keep track of everything. We have all that there. And that really is a real highlight of that difference between doing it yourself and having a professional do it.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to it. Like, for example, once you send out the disputes, I mean, I would set an alarm or something, a calendar reminder, right around that 45-day mark. If they don't respond back, you need to send a second set of dispute letters.
Right.
And this time what you could do is you could mention the fact that they violated, one of your rights, which is not responding back to your dispute within the time frame that they have. Our portal, our software alerts us.
Right.
So someone that's doing it on their own, that's what I was saying. They might want to do a calendar reminder or whatever, best way you like to organize your day. But yeah, I think that's a must because I think that's what happens a lot with consumers when they try to do it themselves. They send out one round of disputes,
right,
and then that's it. That's it. And if we only sent one round of disputes for our clients, we'd be out of business.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah. What makes our process is the follow-up, the continuous follow-up. With the bureaus, creditors, and collection agencies. As a matter of fact, we tell our clients to give us what? Give us 6+ months. Try to give us as long as you can, but we try to tell our clients to give us 6+ months because it truly takes that long, going back and forth. You have to remember the bureaus, creditors, and collection agencies. They're not really for you, the consumer. Their clients are who?
Businesses, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
the creditors, the collection agencies. Yeah.
Well, the FCRA, which is the basis of all of this, was in 1970. Before then, you didn't even have a right to see your own credit report. That was not something that you could do. And if you wanted to see your report, you might be able to get away with it if you had somebody pull for a report for you to do, like buying something or something like that. So, I mean, like you said, this is not originally for them. It's for the businesses. You're just trying to make sure that you're as represented correctly as much as possible.
Exactly. Yep. And I mean, if there's anybody out there that you have some negative items on your credit report and you wanted to dispute them, we have a couple options for them. Do you want to go over the options for them?
The main
to
one,
help them out if they hit a roadblock.
Absolutely. Now, if you end up in a roadblock and you just decide you want to get your hands off of it and you're done, definitely reach out to MSI Credit Solutions. You're going to have somebody that's going to be there. They're going to pick up the phone for you. You're going to have a consultant. He's going to help you pull a credit report. You're going to get a breakdown of that full report, see what's on there that's negative. You're going to get advice on what you need to do on your side to be able to increase what only you can do that we can't work on for you, like paying your bills, getting new credit cards, those type of things. And we're going to attack those negative items. And the great news is for you is if you're working with us, here's your job. Pay your bills on time. Make sure you don't get any new late pays. When new paperwork comes in, when we send things out and you get paperwork back, make sure you get it to us in a timely manner. And of course, keep your eye on what we're doing because we want you to look at your client portal and see what's happening month to month. If you can do those things and give us the 6 months, we can help you out along the way. The other one is some people don't want to go that direction. Some people want to do it themselves. Some people don't want to spend as much money, you know.
Yes.
And if they don't want to spend that kind of money, we do have our do-it-yourself credit, which is a new site for us. You're going to love it. It does a lot of things for you. What I like is that you're able to go in there, sign up with it. Matter of fact, a lot of the dispute stuff is already in there they can look at. All they have to do to get it personalized for them is go through our link in there, set up with our smart credit setup, and then turn it on, and immediately they're able to have all the letters they want right there.
Because they could pull their credit report right through the do-it-yourself program that we
Yep,
have. They can pull their credit report there,
Yep.
and then the letters are actually uploaded in our software. Correct?
Once they've set up their account through there, they then give it permission to pull their credit report in.
Yep.
And what's cool, this is what I think is really neat about it. It then takes their credit report and breaks it down and finds all the inaccuracies that are on there, right? And I mean everything. Like if you've got an account and there is $2,000 you owe over here and $1,000 you owe over here and $0 you owe over here, it will register all of those.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it goes through and finds everything on there. And once it finds those, it actually advises you the best laws to quote, the best arguments to quote in your letter. You choose what you want to dispute. You choose what arguments you want to use and laws you want to quote. Of course, it's giving you the best. And when I say best, the reason I say best is because the system keeps up with what wins the most often.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right? So if we have one particular letter that gets more removals done, it's going to tell you to use that one.
Yeah, yeah.
And then all you have to do is print.
Yep.
And they're there and go mail them.
Yep. And this is a new product for us. I'm excited about, the launch because we had a lot of clients that wanted to try doing it themselves.
Sure.
And before, the only direction that we would give them is, send out dispute letters to negative items on your credit report. And now at least we could direct those clients a little bit better. And, hopefully it works out perfectly for them and they're able to figure it out. It's a little bit more direction than just figure it out. But if not, they could always fall back on, using our services, MSI Credit Solutions. But I know there's a lot of people that maybe it's not in their budget, or maybe they just have the time, because credit repair does take some time. Yeah. So there's some clients out there that probably do have the time and they want to try to figure it out on their own. So do it yourself. What's the name of the website?
DoItYourselfCredit.com. By the way, you were saying a moment ago about the setting up reminders, right? That's in there.
Nice.
It'll set the reminders up
when they send the second round,
when they send the next round, when it's time to send the third round. Not only that, but when you get the letters back, you can go in there and check what was said, and it will modify for your next round. So it really does cover you going through it and doing it right, and it automates that process instead of you having to do all the research. All right, well, they said this. I need to go find what to say next, right? You just tell the machine what it said, and then it tells you what you need to do next.
And then also, another piece of advice would be stall tactic letters, right? Be prepared for them to send you stall tactic letters. They want you to give up. A lot of our clients that utilize our services, they want to give up because they read the letter that the creditor or the bureau send over to them or the collection agency send over to them, and then they call us wanting to cancel because they think that that's it. We can't do anything else.
Right.
And that's what we call stall tactic letters. For example, one of them is the most common one that we see is where the bureaus respond back, hey, these letters look like they're coming from a third party, credit repair company, and they try to steer them away, from us and try to steer them on just basically giving up with the process.
Right.
So just be aware of stall tactic letters. They're not on your side. But the key thing is being persistent. Is just keep disputing And I would do it kind of like we tell our clients that are in our program, 6+ months of
Sure.
of disputing. And don't get discouraged if you don't see anything get deleted in the first round, right? First 45 days.
Yeah.
Don't get discouraged. Just hit it again. It's like a tree, right? It's like, hitting a tree with an axe, right? It's going to take.
You got to whittle away at it.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not going to see a lot of people are expecting it to kind of go up slowly over the 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
No, it can be very much a spike situation where it's going along, nothing happened, and suddenly, boom, a whole bunch of things come off.
Yep.
So that you're right. It's definitely one of those things they need to stick with it for the 6 months. By the way, one of my favorite stall letters I ever saw, it said in there, and I'm not going to say the company because that could get us in trouble, but it said, according to our records, this is correct.
Really?
That's all it said. And I'm
yeah.
like, you can't prove a thing with a thing.
Yeah.
That's actually not.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Like the credit report. You'll get a credit report, right? Because whenever any changes are made to your credit report, they have to send you a new credit report. So you'll get credit reports, and you're exactly right. Let's pretend you disputed a collection with Wells Fargo. It'll say Wells Fargo, it'll say the account number, then it will say verify no change. And so you as a consumer might give up at that point in time.
Right.
But verifying it doesn't validate it. And that's
Nope.
what you should be asking for. You're asking them for validation, for proof that it is, accurately reporting on your credit report and it is yours. So I'm glad you mentioned that one because that one is probably the most common one.
Oh, without a doubt, it's
Yeah.
the most common because when somebody sees something on there, I mean, their first round, the first round you do is, I like to say it's kind of like setting a game, right? Yeah. You send out that first round of letters, and when they get there, they're going to see if you will just walk away. Yeah. And I'm not saying anything bad about any companies out there, but I'm just going by what we've gotten back.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, that's when it really starts. That's also the reason you shouldn't worry about the first round, but you also that should be the reason that it's 6 months should be your goal, because that first round really is just kind of figuring out who there, is going to fight you and who isn't.
Exactly.
Some of them may just go, hey, we're done, and take it right off your credit report.
Yeah.
But some of them are going to send you back messages that say, hey, no, this is verified. Go away.
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to do is say go away, and that's not what they can do.
Yep, exactly. Anything else that you want to cover with any other tips?
Any other tips? Wow, about disputing itself. Really remember when you do your dispute letters, you're going to want to put your name on there. You want to put this specific account number on there that you're putting on there. You're going to want to put the date of whatever that negative item is, whether it's a late pay or a collection or anything else. You want to put in there a reason, and especially on lates. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people put a reason in there. Hey, this is what happened in that time period. Yeah. Quote the laws and make sure you have all the account information on that one. Yeah. Because if you don't, then they may or may not read it all the way through.
Yep. Make sure your ID has a correct address on there.
Yes.
That's another, stall tactic is if you send out a dispute and your address on your ID is incorrect, and you're wanting them to respond back to the address on the envelope that on the envelope, they won't. They will respond back. They'll take every bit of the time that they're allowed to take. They'll respond back and say, "We need proof of residence," you have to send a utility bill, or you have to go change your ID, to your correct address.
Yeah.
So be careful with your ID. Your ID can be expired for your form of identification. Your ID can be expired, so be careful with that. They're just trying to make it impossible for a consumer to, be able to dispute negative items on their credit report.
Especially that expired ID thing.
Yeah.
What's changed? Am I changed persons and since that expired? No. They said it was me before. Sorry, that just makes me laugh. One of the things that I would say is when you start the process, the day you send out the letters, that day forward, you check your mail every day.
Yep.
And you check everything in your mail. I know a lot of us out there, myself included, I can't tell you how many times I went through the mail and pulled it out and went and threw it away, right? And just rifled through it. And anything that didn't look like something I knew, I threw away. And I know a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Open everything. Yeah. Open every piece of mail that's coming in, because if you don't, you're going to miss the thing that you need to respond to. So that's another one of those headaches you should be watching for.
And one thing that I want to include is it's important that you do dispute the negative items on your credit report because, like we were saying, a lot of consumers have inaccuracies in the credit report. And these negative items on your credit report, they affect you dramatically. A lot of people don't realize that. I had a friend that called me this morning. He got a late payment. His wife, and they're newlyweds too. His wife was responsible for paying the auto. She thought she set up the auto pay, but didn't. And his scores dropped 50 points. I was actually surprised it was only 50 points. You know, it could be anywhere between, I don't know, 40, 50 to 100 points with one new negative item. So anyways, his scores dropped and he was calling me, you know, what he could do. And so anyways, anything negative on your credit report. And I gave you guys an example of derogatory items, collections, late payments. I didn't finish them all, but repos, foreclosures.
Right.
Public records are judgments, tax liens, and bankruptcies. If you have any of those negative items on your credit report, your scores are dramatically being impacted by those negative items. So it's worth your time, you know, to dispute those negative items yourself or hire someone like us to help you dispute them because it makes a big difference. And now these days with the interest rates, you know, being so high, it'll improve the terms that you're going to receive with anything, credit cards, auto loans, mortgage loans, any type of personal loans, student loans. It's going to affect what kind of interest rate you get. Yes.
I mean, everything out there. I mean, there's really. I actually did a story one time and told somebody, you know, how much does credit affect you? I said, when you woke up this morning, you went over, turned on the lights, your credit's already affected you.
Yep.
When you went and turned your water on, your credit just affected you again because all of these things are you got a rate on how much your electricity was, how much your water was by your credit. And so if anybody ever wonders what affects your credit and why you want to do this, even if I recommend finding somebody to help out, just like I would recommend to anybody who's working on a car, go to a mechanic, unless you're really good with cars or you've got a really good friend with a car. I would recommend the same thing with credit, or at least get somebody to help you out like our do-it-yourself credit service. Because I mean, everything's affected as you go through your whole day.
So I think this is important. This podcast, this episode is important for anybody that has credit. Anybody that has credit.
Period.
Anybody over the age of 18, pull your credit report. Look to see if you have any derogatory marks on your credit report. If you do, I would dispute them to make sure they're reporting 100% accurate. Why? Because those negative items that appear on your credit report are dramatically affecting your scores. And if they were not on there, your scores would be that much higher and your terms on everything that you have would be that much better. So there you go. Yeah, anybody that has any negative items, first step is pull your credit report. Pull your credit report. We recommend Smart Credit.
Yep.
They're one of the sites that I was talking about earlier that they give you a free trial. Well, they charge you like, what is it, $1, $2?
$2.
They charge you $2 for how many days is it?
It's a 7-day trial.
Yep. And then if you don't cancel with them, they'll charge you $29, $30, somewhere around there a month, right?
Something around there,
Yep. But if you want just a totally free one, but it's not going to give you the information that you need to be able to make the disputes, Credit Karma. Karma, you could go there and pull your credit report. It's free, but it's only going to give you 2 credit reports.
Yeah, it's only going to be 2.
TransUnion and Equifax.
Correct.
It will not give you Experian. So if I was you, I would start off with Smart Credit because you will need a 3 bureau credit report to see if you have any negative items on those 3 bureaus.
Right.
And so anyways, and once you do pull your credit report, I mean, you basically have 3 choices. Dispute it yourself, just on your own. You know, maybe you could find some letters online. You know, AI, you could do that maybe. Or if you don't want to do that, you could take one step forward, which would be a do-it-yourself credit repair. You could use ours, doityourselfcredit.com, right?
doityourselfcredit.com. Yep.
And if I think right now, if someone goes there, we haven't launched our site yet, but you can still go to the platform.
Yeah, you can.
So if you go to doityourselfcredit.com, will it take them to a platform? Do you know?
It will.
Okay,
It'll take them there, and they'll be able to. They can actually sign into it.
Yep.
And they can, you know, if they sign up with, there is a free account that you can set up with that and go in there and check everything out and look at it. So I highly recommend that if you decide you want to go with it. Inside there is a link to be able to pull the credit report you need for DIY credit to do the job. And you pull that, link it together.
So that's a big advice there. If you want to do the do-it-yourself program and you want to do our do-it-yourself program, don't go pull your credit report somewhere else and then go to do it yourself, because our do-it-yourself program is automated with smart credit.
Correct.
And so go to doityourselfcredit.com and pull your credit report through the site. And they're synced together, basically.
They're synced together, correct.
If you don't want to do that, then there's another step, and you could hire a full-service credit repair company like ours, MSIcredit.com. You don't even have to use ours. You could Google credit repair company out there and go with them. But that would be for individuals that just don't have the time to do it. They don't have the time to figure it out.
Right.
So anyways, those would be individuals, going that route. But yeah, if you have any questions, regardless if you go with us, regardless if you go with our do-it-yourself program, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Is there anything else that you want to throw out there for our listeners that are going to attempt to do this?
No, the only way really to lose is not doing it at all.
That's a good one.
That's the truth of it. There's really only two ways to lose when it comes to disputing: not doing it and giving up on the first round.
Yep.
If you know it's wrong, you have a right to this. The law actually says 100% accurate.
Yep.
That's one of the few laws that says something that definitive.
Yeah.
So really, at that point, we've talked about disputes. We, make sure you're putting the information in there right. We're going to put some links down below, of course, about that type of thing and be able to get to those. But that's it. This is really, when it comes down to cut and dry, get that credit report, look it over, find what's negative, and attack them.
Yep. So we hope this helped everybody out there that's listening. We hope this helped you out. And kind of like we said, if you have any derogatory marks on your credit report, it's worth the time and effort to dispute it in hopes of it getting removed.
Yep.
Thank
you for watching MSI Wealth Chronicles, building legacy one episode at a time. We're going to have links down below. Please comment and tune in next time. We love to see you and look forward to helping you out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.